Elisa Star, Elisa Star. Run her mouth, breathtaking, so bizarre. Elisa Star, Elisa Star. She's your friend.
Hello, everyone. This is Elisa. These are my thoughts. And I have been rewatching Grimm. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it's about fairy tale monsters and the guy who kills them. It's very like Buffy, but a dude instead. And the mythology is really consistent. You know, that's what I'm looking for in a science fiction television show, is a plot I can follow. You know, like, we are these people. We have these goals. Our universe works like this. And they really adhere to this fairy tale theme. There are monsters and villagers and kings and queens and, magical witches. But it's just basically, it's like, you look at a Grimm fairy tale and that's where they took it. The source material is all there. It all fits in with each other nicely, but it's set in modern day Portland. And I used to live in Portland when they were filming Grimm, which makes me think that they definitely read my cards when they were on the set, which is so cool. But I couldn't watch it after I'd left Portland for a little while because Portland and I had such a bad breakup. Oh, they were such dicks to me. It was such a dick city to me before I left. Like every other relationship I've ever had. That's not actually true. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about Portland. I don't know if this is still true, but it's relentless. As a Portlander, or previous Portlander, I can't stop thinking this way when I'm watching Grimm, which is that in Portland, people are interested in your stories as long as they know exactly where they take place. Like, nobody wants to talk to you until they know exactly where you live. I don't understand why. Coming from California was like none of your business, right, at first. But then I realized they don't want to stalk you. They don't actually want to be friends with you. They call it the Seattle freeze, but there's a Portland freeze too. They just want to know where the story is taking place. And everybody in Portland's really proud that they live on a grid. So you can either just give them your address or give them your cross streets. And after they know that, they will let you go on with the story. So as a Portlander, watching this cop show, for the most part, they're really good about naming actual places. And when I watched it, I liked it because they were all places that I hung out at or I sold cards at, and so it's nice to be able to see the city without having to go to the city, and to remember some of the good times that I had on those streets. It's also fun to just guess where they are, I guess. And I find myself going a little bit nuts when they say, like, oh, it was on Hawthorne. I'm on Hawthorne and 36, Hawthorne and 5th. And I'm like, you didn't say southeast, northeast, whatever. Dude, how are we going to know where in Portland you are? Like, what side of the bridge? Tell me the fucking truth, man. In my head, every time they reel off an address. Oh my God, you guys. I feel like I have obsessive compulsive disorder because I think I have obsessive compulsive disorder. It was the weirdest thing to get used to about Portland. Like I said, coming from California, I was like, we usually say a city or like maybe a neighborhood, but it's mostly just a city. Where do you live? The city of Cupertino. Where do you live? The city of San Jose. That's it. You get a city. In Portland, you had to give a cross street. Sometimes you just give them their address and they'd be like, oh, 34th and Denny, whatever. It just didn't make any sense. Wait, is Denny over here? Cooch, 5th and Cooch, whatever. That's a real street. It's spelled like couch, but they get mad if you don't call it Cooch. So they also take pride in the beaverness of it all. A lot of Beaver Town, and I think it's a mascot for something over there too. They really like their puns. I guess they're not puns. They're just vaginal references. Looking back, it really misled me about whether or not people wanted to be my friend, and it confused me for at least the first few years. I was like, now that you know where I live, do you want to come hang out with me? What is happening next? Nothing's happening next. They don't want to hang out with you. And Portland was a place where you had to bring your own friends, or people or you didn't have any friends. Literally, you had to import people, and that's how people would move to Portland from Idaho or California or Minnesota or wherever. They would move in groups, not just like pairs, but like groups. So you couldn't get into like an Idaho, Minnesota group. If you met someone at a party, you might be able to be friends with them for a little while, but there weren't very many lasting friendships for me in Portland. I think partly it was me. I think that Portland was passive, not passive aggressive, just passive, and I just scared the shit out of everyone there. I think a lot of the reason they didn't want to be friends with me is because they were like, what if I have to tell her no sometime? How would I tell her to shut the fuck up? In their heads. I think they were like, I can't ever say no to her. She's too scary. So they couldn't really hang out with me, even if they acted like they wanted to. I still have business cards, but now it's more like, here's my Instagram, you can follow me. But when I had business cards, they were like, saving the world, one fucked up relationship at a time. Saving the world, one fucked up relationship at a time. And people would be like, hey, look, I got your card right here in my wallet. I've kept it for like years. And I'm like, did you go to my website? It's right there underneath it. And they were like, oh, no. I'm like, you could have emailed me. It's also right there. And they were like, never noticed that before. What the fuck, dude? You could read the top part, but not the bottom part? You never thought, oh, she might make more funny shit than this. I could probably check this website. Fucking A, people are assholes. So that's what I feel when I watch this TV show. Like, the acting's great. The action is good. Like I said, it's a great sci-fi show because it's very consistent. You never have to worry that something weird that doesn't belong is going to come up. Like Andromeda, the other space show I've been watching, which never makes any fucking sense. They just make it up as they go along, and it's not very good. It's like one of Gene Roddenberry's abortions. It should have been an abortion from Gene Roddenberry, but his wife, Majel, I think, really missed him, and she took all of his ideas, even the really terrible ones, and produced them after he died, which I don't blame her for. I hope that somebody loves me enough to go through all of my old art shit and try to spread it to the world when I die. And Majel Barrett was, she was a wonderful, wonderful person. She was Gene Roddenberry's wife for 40 or 50 years, and she's also the voice of the computer in all of the different Star Treks. She played Deanna Troy's mom. She makes sure that she does an appearance in every single thing, every single Star Trek thing. But she's just wonderful. She's just caring. She's dead now. I was very in love with her. You know, Nimoy was maybe my first love, maybe out of the Star Treks. After Shatner killed his second wife, I was a little bit like, about him. But he was always kind of a dickhead, I always thought. Okay, now I'm getting into Star Trek minutia, and if you don't love Star Trek, this is boring for you. So I will stop because I don't know how many Trekkies I've got following me. And it's not as important as me explaining to you about how weird Portland fucking was. I hope that you have enjoyed these thoughts. As usual, they're brought to you by Snarky Cards. Today's Snarky card of the day is, transex comes with surprises. Come, let me surprise you. Sincerely, Elisa. Get these snarky cards and more at snarkycards.etsy.com. Use coupon code THOUGHTS for 20% off. Thanks for listening to me. Happy vagina.
Elisa Star, blabbermouth, breathtaking, so bizarre. Elisa Star, trying to get you to laugh at your scars. Elisa Star, tells you what's up wherever you are. Elisa Star, she is a booby blabbermouth who is